everyone, my name is Mehek. I hope you guys are all fine, safe, and like always, I also hope that you guys are reading. Back with the book of the week. Like I said in my previous video that December is a month where I usually review a lot of Christmassy themed book, and I'm sure with my hat and my t-shirt you can make out that I'm in a very festive holiday mood. Anyways, the book that I finished reading is Indian Christmas. That's how it looks. It's written by Jerry Pinto and Madhulika Little. It's actually edited by them. It's a bright red hardcover. Now this book is, I also have my notes because there's so many things in this book that I really want to share with you guys. It's so interesting and I thought it's better to have my notes so that I don't miss anything. So yeah, the book is basically an anthology. When I say an anthology, it basically means that more than one writer has come together and contributed and shared various pieces of writing in this book. So basically all these writers who have come together in this book, they have spoken about Indian Christmas. Basically how Christmas was when they were growing up, their childhood memories associated with. So you can in a way say that these different chapters in this book are kind of memoirs which are contributed by each of these authors. So you will not just, I mean, it's not in general, you will read about the Christmas and the festivities around it from areas like Goa, Nagaland, Kerala, Delhi, Ranchi, Kolkata, Mumbai, Shillong, and even rural Jharkhand. So I loved how these authors have just not given insights into, in fact, I would, the book is in fact not only about how Christmas is celebrated in the big cities, but it also talks about how Christmas is celebrated in the rural parts of India, which I think was a very interesting and, fabulous insight about how Christmas is celebrated in our country. So yeah, and while I was going through all these essays, one thing I realized that it's pretty obvious through all these memoirs that, while India as a country might have adopted the faith or might have adopted Christmas from the West, but I think we have kept it very personal to ourselves. We have kept the right to ourselves how we want to celebrate the festival. So it's very interesting how in this book each of these authors says that because we've kept the right to ourselves how we want to observe the festivity, which is greatly influenced by our own culture and how we have grown up. So for example, you won't see a roast turkey on our table that you usually see in the movies or people from the West. So you won't see a roast turkey on on our tables while we are celebrating Christmas. In fact, what you will see is the curries, the shami kebabs, the biryanis. So like the authors have shared that, for example, in Kerala, it's actually the duck curry and the appams, which is very common when people are having the Christmas dinner. In Nagaland, it is the pork curries, which is rich in chilies and bamboo shoots. And in Goa, it's the sausage pulaus. Now similarly for desserts, like we usually see the plum cakes and the mince pies, but among the East Indians of Mumbai, for example, you have the milk creams and the mawa filled karanjis and the walnut fudge, which are very famous. In Kerala, you have the lacy rose cookies, and in places like rural Jharkhand, Christmas cake is actually replaced by something called as ersa, which is a very local sweet dish. It's basically deep fried rice flour sweet. So yeah, you read all these things and you realize that Christmas is the Indian Christmas infused with so many local flavors, and I think that was very interesting for me to read about. So quickly I'm going to share this incident with you by Madhulika, who is one of the contributors in this book, where she's talking about she married and her husband is a Hindu, and they were post their marriage, they were going for the first Christmas dinner. And she says that when I got married in 2000, I had not even realized how many of the misconceptions, prevail around us. My husband is a Hindu, and when our first Christmas came around, we were driving to our place, and my, husband kept mentioning about, the delicacies that he's looking forward to. For example, the Christmas pudding with brandy sauce, the roast turkey stuffing with roast potatoes, gravy, etc. All those things that we usually hear about, very common in the West celebration. And I told him, no, we are not Angres. Why would we eat any of these things? And when he went to the place and when the food was laid down, the Christmas feast was laid down, he was so surprised that actually on the table was matar pulao with chicken curry, salad and tomato ka bharta. And for the dessert, we didn't have any Christmas pudding or cake. It was actually gajar ka halwa. And this has been a standard Christmas lunch for us. And this was really shocking for my husband. So I think memories like this was really fun to read. Then I also came about, some very interesting facts in the book. Did you know that the first Christmas cake was actually baked in Kerala? Yes, that was really surprising for me. So it was actually baked by Mambally Bapu. It is said that he was trained as a baker in Burma. And he set up his own bakery in 1880. And in 1883, there was this East Indian company spice planter. And he basically, got these imported cakes and he showed it to Bapu. And he got the ingredients as well. And that's when, Bapu really tried to recreate his own version of the Christmas cake. And that's where the first Christmas came into being in India. So yeah, wow, Kerala people, you can take the credit. Similarly, in Chhota Nagpur region, people use mango leaves, marigolds, and the tree that is, to be decorated during the Christmas is not pine tree. It's actually the mango tree or the sal tree, which is more common in that area. So I'm sure all these things that I'm sharing with you is kind of giving you an insight into how, Christmas in India is not greatly influenced by West, maybe in the cities, but still in smaller cities and rural areas, people are very, it's still very personal and they try and imbibe their own cultural ingredient in these festivals, I would say. Another thing, which is shared by by many authors in this book was about this concept of local bakers, which kind of also talks about the sense of community and everyone coming together during festivals. So, the author shares that, in previous time, like there were joint families and obviously there's the concept of ovens didn't exist then. So what basically the families used to do was they used to visit the local baker who used to have this big oven, and they used to carry the ingredients along, like the spices, the nuts, the butter, etc. And under the watchful eye of the customer, the baker would kind of mix all the ingredients and put it in the oven and then ask the customer to come back after 3 hours, So that's how the cakes were baked then. Obviously now the things have changed. Festivals are much more commercialized. So the authors, point out how we now rely on these ready-made cakes that we pick at over the counter, like for example, Theobroma and stuff. Again, a very sweet memoir that I would like to share with you guys, which is shared by Mary Sushma Kindo. It's about her experience. So she belongs to this village which is in one of the districts of Jharkhand, which is 4 hours away from Ranchi, and there are only 25 to 30 Christian families there. And this entire chapter was so heartwarming how the families celebrate Christmas there. So she says that in the village we buy new clothes only once a year for Christmas. And all the parents buy clothes for their children, and if they can afford it for themselves as well, there's a small market near our village where everyone goes and buys gifts. And then she talks about the church visits, and then later on she spoke about how later, many years later she shifted to Delhi, and she's basically drawing a contrast where she says that in our village we celebrate the Christmas entire week, from starting from 24th, and the Naj Gana continues till New Year's Eve. But in Delhi it's all over in day one. So she's saying, yahan pe pata hi nahi chalta ki Christmas hai. You don't even realize that Christmas is there because it comes and it goes so quickly. Also, very funny thing which I came across in the book, like I didn't know, I don't know if most of you know or not. Did you know that carols exist in Punjabi and Hindi? Yes, I would have heard. I didn't know that we have the Christmas carols in Punjabi, and you can actually read them in the book, which is like fun. Then of course there is the mention of the Mumbai Christmas. I mean, especially in the bylanes of Bandra, where you can actually feel the Christmas spirit in the air. Like, I love going during the Christmas time to Bandra because you have these houses which have these cribs outside. There are lights everywhere, and it's just a beautiful sight. I love it. In fact, there's this again this author Jane Borges. He says that there are many kind of Christmas in Mumbai, as there are many kinds of Christians. So he says that you have the religious ones who usually prefer solemn celebrations, like they go to the midnight mass on Christmas Eve, followed by a prayer service the next morning, and the last rosary before hitting the sack. Then you have the bleak, make merry on free-flowing booze people who loves their festive spread of roast, turkey, drinks, etc. Then you have the more conservative ones who enjoy the comfort of their home, getting together with family, and absolutely avoid the unshowy get-togethers. And then there are the gym khana goers that you might have heard about, who just love the wisdom in song and dance and the big showy celebrations. So yeah, overall I think incidences like this more. I just picked up some of my favorite ones, but the book is filled with such memories shared by different authors. In fact, the book is beautiful visually because just hold on, let me show it to you. Like, there are pictures in the book, like if you see. So you have pictures of the celebrations, some of the paintings. You will have pictures of actual people from how the celebration is done in Kolkata, Goa, and there are some Christmas cuisines. So the book is actually visually very enriching with so many photographs. There's also this, I think this book, this picture got viral wherein this Santa is kids dressed as Santas and on the rickshaw, and they're ferried away. This picture. So pictures like this, which I think was really fun to go through. So yeah, I think overall I would say that this book was a very light and the perfect festive read, I would say, even if you're looking to give someone a book during Christmas, and you should. I think books are the perfect gift. You should look at gifting them this book. And personally I feel, we read so much about the Christmas, or we watch through the movie, like I love Christmas movies. We watch so much about what the celebration looks like in the West and what it entails. But I think, after reading this book, I got a fabulous insight into how Christmas is celebrating in India, what the families do, and not just, like I said, not in the big cities, but also in the villages, which I think was the best part of the book. And there are also certain Christmas recipes. There's this cake recipe and few other dishes recipes that you can find in the book. So yeah, that's all on this wonderful book. I'm gonna see you guys with another book in the next week. Till then, take care, bye-bye, and enjoy your Christmas. Make sure that you're having a great time with your family. Bye-bye.